What's up, guys? Welcome to the High Top, the first ever where we are going to discuss the topics of what was talked the previous Sunday, so you guys can discuss it as a family. And we're just going to ask a few questions per discussion, and we're going to go over Philippians 4 this week. But before we go there, we're going to pray. If you want to pray as a family, pause it, and we're going to pray real quick, and then we'll start the discussion. So, dear Lord, thank you so much for this day. God, lead us not in what we think the answers are, but what your word says. And God, Lord, just watch over us, guide us during this time, teach us, mold us, and shape us, Lord. It's in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
So, Philippians 4, Philippians M4, it's
Yeah.
a series that we've been doing it.
Yeah.
I guess we'll start. We're going to let you two respond.
Okay.
But we'll go with one
Sure
person
you wanna
first.
do
So
that?
we're going to start with
Okay.
Chad first.
Yeah.
First question.
Okay.
How has this series of Philippians and 4 affected your life personally?
I have to say in a couple different ways. The first way is I'm a huge fan of like taking a book of the Bible and just going all the way through it. And so that's given me a really cool opportunity to go back through Philippians again. If you were able to look into my Bible, you can see I got a couple different passages underlined that have really impacted me. But probably one of the bigger parts of Philippians, Paul is talking to the church at Philippi, and he's obviously dealing with some issues of unity, and they're facing some persecution and things. But one of the main things he talks about in chapter 2 is the believer's humility, how we should be humble and think about others better than ourselves, and look to their needs, not only our needs, because looking to our needs is kind of the go-to, but looking to other people's needs as well. And so for me, I really had to do kind of like a take stock of my life and see, man, what areas of my life am I being humble, and what areas of my life do I really need to improve in? And as I went through Philippians, man, I just saw that, God, man, as Paul was writing this, yes, it was for the church at Philippi, but it's meant for us today. And I was able to apply it to my life numerous ways, but that was probably the biggest way.
Yeah, definitely. Man, anytime that you teach something, you feel like you need to emulate it and to live it. And that's where I've loved, like you said, going through books of the Bible. That's why we felt it was important for this past month or so to go through a book. And what better book to go through than Philippians? You know, I love the fact that Paul's sitting in jail, and he's giving us all these nuggets. And for me, it was really able to teach on like Philippians 1. And the verse, you know, that really impacted me is one of my favorite verses in the whole Bible, is only let your manner of life be worthy of the gospel of Christ. Man, what just the full encompassing of letting your life, like the one thing that he has given you life. And it doesn't matter, nothing else matters except making that life worthy of the gospel. And then being able to revert back and really understand what the gospel is and why we live for it. Man, it challenged me in ways that, I can't even, I don't have enough tape to run through what he's done in my life. And then realizing just the practicalness of, in verse 28, it says, "There's a clear sign to them of their destruction, but of your salvation, and that from God," and really being able to evaluate, am I living that way?
Right.
Can they see their destruction by the way that I live out my salvation, that my end is different from their end?
Sure.
And seeing that, that's probably one of the biggest things that I've learned coming through Philippians. All of this good. I mean, humility, who doesn't need to be humbled?
Right.
Especially being in positions of leadership, everybody needs to be humbled, and righteousness through faith, and then, how he ends it, which we're going to get into in a few minutes. And
those were great answers to start out with. But we want to have you guys pause it, and we want to ask you the same question and discuss as a family or discuss with your friends, how has this series of Philippians and 4 affected your life personally going back over the last 4 weeks? So pause it, and then we'll come back with the next question.